So let's start with the Cedric Glover legislative proposal. And I think we need to give a bit of background here pertaining to, I think the amount is $100 million that, was it last year, Aaron, or the year before that it was? Well, you tell us about it. The money that was originally moved from Jimmie Davis repair to I-49 intercity connector. You just take it from here and you can bring us up to speed.
Well, I tell you, I actually just got contacted by Representative Glover last night regarding this project. And, the background really is he's not a big fan of intercity connector. And we all know that Jimmie Davis needs to be fixed. So this is partially just an attempt to divert the funds from something he doesn't want to something that a lot of people want. So that's really the background of it. And he's just kind of shifting some funds. But the times that we're in are interesting because we can actually do both of these things, and we need to do both of these things. So I think he makes a pretty good argument that, hey, Jimmie Davis, we're ready to go. We put the money in there, we can go on it. Intercity connector, that takes a lot more coordination. We've already been fighting that for years. And we also know the feds are going to kick in funds on a project like that. So I think he's got a good bill here. It's just his motives for getting it sometimes aren't exactly what we hope for. But he's just trying to keep those funds from going with the I-49 through town there.
So where's the money going to come from if you say we can do both? If $100 million that was originally allocated for Jimmie Davis was moved to intercity connector, where's the other $100 million or more? I guess because all the DOTD people, they want to build a new 4-laner down there across the Red River where Jimmie Davis is. Where's that extra money going to come from? Walk me through that again.
Well, as you saw, Biden was here last week talking about some infrastructure funds. Now, granted, the actual funding from it for infrastructure is pretty weak, but there are going to be funds towards infrastructure. And, there's always either an 80-20 match or some ratio like that for federal funds to our funds. So us coming up with $100 million and having the feds pay $400 million is not beyond reason. And right now we're looking at a potential surplus. Matter of fact, we had a bill on the floor last week that talked about, well, how are we going to treat this surplus? There was Brett Guyman had proposed, well, why don't we treat it like we do all the others and say, hey, we're only allowed to use it for these constitutional things, and we can't put it towards recurring expenses. Now, that failed. But the idea behind me mentioning that is we're projected to have some excess, and I think we're going to have some money to do things like that. I can't promise that, but it sure seems that way.
The Glover bill is before the Appropriations Committee today, which you sit on. Do you know how you're voting yet?
I think I'm going to vote for that bridge just because, let's face it, there is a lot of traffic going across that bridge, and that would be a major diversion to have to go around that thing if it were to be deemed unusable or something. We need that fixed. We need it expanded. So I think that'd be a good thing. And like I said, the intercity connector, I think we're going to get the funds for that. And I think people are going to be in support of that too, just because, that recent announcement of Amazon, that's going to be a nice avenue for them to be able to have to jumping on off the highway to get throughout the state in this region.
So, Raymond, do you see your vote for this today as a vote against the intercity connector? It sounds like no, that you think we can do both.
Yes, I certainly do. And I think we need to. I was actually conflicted on the intercity connector in the early stages just because I had read what had happened with elevated roadways through sections of other big cities. But I think they've mitigated a lot of that with the route and whatnot. And, some of that area is just not developed. So I think we're going to be able to go the way it is planned right now and get a great benefit from both. Think about all the highways coming through our area if we get that intercity connector finished. Of course, I'll just make a personal plug. I'd love to keep that northern part free of signs. It looks beautiful right now, but just having that throughput will definitely increase the economic vitality of this region.
If you move the money back to the Jimmie Davis Bridge, how soon could we have a new bridge? And that's the direction we're going, is a new bridge, right?
This one here, the way I read it, talks about adding 2 lanes and fixing the bridge that we have.
Okay.
It says somewhere in there I saw that 2 extra lanes and fixing the bridge that we have.
Wow.
Yeah, additional 2 lanes.
We still have to solve the
part.
We still have to solve the bird problem down there. We both kind of giggle at it, but what was it? The barn swallows.
Mm-hmm.
But that brought the whole.
I had no idea was a big
That brought the whole thing
extinction or whatever.
That brought the whole thing to a halt. What was it, 6 or 7 or something years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't we face those same problems, I guess, huh? I mean, that's got to be part of the equation, seeing as how, Aaron, you tell me, how much money was set aside for it X number of years ago?
$25 million, 15 years ago.
With the study plan and everything, and we just kind of lost that because of the birds. So there's a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross, right?
Well, maybe Shreveport rezoned the area and told no new birds they couldn't move in, and the rest moved out. I don't know.
What would be the cost? And I don't mean to put you on the spot here because I certainly don't know. What is the projected cost of a new Jimmie Davis Bridge, even if we went with a new 2-lane and then repaired the 2 that we already have? Any idea what that would be?
Are you saying have an additional bridge or just repair and add?
Well, hell, if we just repaired the one we have, do we know what it would be?
Well, the way he writes a bill, he says $100 million for that. So I don't see where he says any other figure. I mean, I'll be looking forward to hearing any more talk about it this morning, but that's all the only figure in this.
I would think it would be $100 million if we use steel and concrete, $500 million if we go with wood, but that's just me.
The president came to town with a bucket of cash. Can some of that be used for these bridges and for this I-49 intercity connector? Are you hopeful?
Yeah, I am hopeful, but I loved Senator Kennedy's analogy last year, with a 5% dedicated infrastructure and 95 going elsewhere. It's like buying a brand new car just to get the cup holders. I thought that was great.
Absolutely. Raymond Crews, State Representative, House Appropriations Committee, the place to be today. Thanks for your time.
Much appreciated, Mr. Raymond. See you soon for sure.